Yo. What is up, podcast? How you guys doing, man? Listen, this is the smoking section where we bring you the hottest topics, with fire conversation, hoping to stimulate your mind, man. Yeah, we out here just trying to live our life, dude. I'm your host, Big Corpse, the one and only. Yeah, listen, during this time of great peril around the world, I want to say I love you. I want to say I hope everyone's doing all right. Yeah, like, it's a really crazy time right now in America. Like, really, really crazy time around the world. And it's very humanizing. And I love it. Like, to an extent, I love this shit. You know what I mean? Because people are so friendly and everyone's kind of, like, slowing down and taking their time and being courteous and being thoughtful and emphatic to others in their struggles. Yeah, like I don't know, it's just really heartwarming to me. But this episode is a 2.0 of an episode I did a few days ago. I don't even know how long it's been. But it happened recently. It's one of my more recent episodes. But I had a couple people hit me up on Instagram and were like, yo, I want you to talk more about this. Right? And they're like, some of them were like kind of like dear friends to me. And they just want to hear more of my perspective on things on this topic. And I'm really glad that they're open to hearing about it, because it's not something that I talk about a lot, honestly. Really not at all. But it's getting over a relationship. You know what I mean? And you know, my close friends knew about my ex, the mother of my child. You know what I mean? And I hate to bring her up, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to ever make it seem like she's this bad person. I don't want to do that. Yeah. So before we even get into this conversation today, I want to make sure that that's clear. I'm not here to make anybody look like a bad person. Yeah, I'm just speaking on my experiences where that relationship led me through. And I was in that relationship for 5 years, a little over 5 years, considering the time we kind of casually dated before we made it official. Two things that I talked about before on the last episode. One was, make sure that you have a friend that keeps you straight, right? That doesn't encourage you to perform lower level, lower frequency, lower planet type of activities, right? Things that could lead you in harm's way, right? Or lead you to do things that you might not be so proud of in the morning, right? And also things like the thing is this. The thing I want to make clear on this episode is that we all heal in our own way, right? We all heal in our own way. And the biggest thing that I want to make sure that I talk to people is, and just hope that I can convey this understanding, to understand that it's okay the ways that we choose to heal, as long as they are positive, right? If you're hurting people along the way of your healing, then I think you might need to reevaluate the ways in which you choose to come over these hardships, right? Because crossing the bridge and burning it is two different things. There's two different things happening, right? And in the long road is more detrimental, right? There's one that's a little more detrimental. Healing should bring peace not only to yourself, but the people around you, your closest friends. You're finding your peace, finding your happiness should bring happiness to the others around you as well, right? And I know we try to live in these non-judgmental manners and these ways of idealism, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, we are materialistic by our nature, you know what I mean? And by this earthly nature, let me say. And we can't help these things that we feel. And if our healing is causing pain and is causing grief, then we need to reevaluate these things. Yeah? For example, the drinking example. Me going out and drinking to get over an ex, yes, might bring me a partial and momentary source of healing, but in the long run, I'm doing damage to my own body, right? My liver, and the possibility of blacking out, right? I'm a little inebriated, and my center of gravity isn't all the way in, so I may fall over. I may do this or I may do that, right? You think of things that might throw you into a perpetual circular thought pattern, right? Especially when we've had some intoxicants in our body. And that's just us, right? That's just damage to our own. Now, our friends, right? If our healing is choosing to smoke crack, we're hurting our friends by watching them begin to have a distaste for our presence. We're hurting them by saying, hey man, like, they might look at you and be like, hey man, I love you, but I can't be around you if you're doing these drugs, or if you're drinking like this. If you're drinking all the time, I can't be around you, man. You know what I mean? And if healing is by you speaking to somebody about it on a consistent basis, that might even lead to hurting them too, right? Especially if you choose to bash that person, right? So for me, for example, I could go to my best friend Thomas. I could go to him and be like, this, that, and the third, After a while, he's going to look at me and be like, dude, get over it. Like, he already has. I'm so glad I have him in my life because he's helped me so much. He's like, yo, dude, not today. Let's not talk about this today. Like, I came here to hang out with you, not hear about her. And he's definitely somebody whose shoulder I cried on. He's definitely somebody who, during the real tough times after the breakup would, pick me up and take me out, or, make sure I was eating. He would hit me up and be like, hey dog, have you eaten? But, oh yeah, woo woo woo. But he was really on me. He was really, really trying to be there for me. And I can never thank him enough for it. Because the less I obsessed over these thoughts, the less lower type frequency days I was having, because these thoughts, you guys know how it goes. You get into these thought patterns, it goes into a circle, and then all day you're thinking about it. All day, from the time you start until the time you go to sleep, you're just thinking about the shit all day. And it's just not a way to live, right? And so choosing those forms of healing could be doing you bad, right? So as we're out there trying to heal from these traumas and this pain and this, these betrayals and all this stuff, we gotta be mindful in the ways in which we choose to heal. The biggest mistake a lot of people think, well, I'm healing, and it doesn't matter how these other people feel. It matters how I feel, and which is true, but that's also very selfish to the people who care about you, right? And I have now grown to very believe is that we get into these thought patterns. We get into this type of behavior. We get into this, oh well, I'm just trying to heal, and it's okay if I hurt other people, because we're trying to be selfish with our emotions. We're trying to be selfish with our love. And yes, that is an essential part, right? But I know from experience, right, that when I broke my arm, that shit hurt when they popped it back in place and stuffed it into a cast, right? Or you have a cavity in your tooth that hurts. And it hurts, right? We don't want to go to the dentist and get it yanked out because it hurts. But little do we know, you experience that discomfort for a little bit, but in the long run to never have to feel that ever again. So for me, I feel that we need to choose the healing processes that cause us the most discomfort up front, right? Emotional discomfort, right? So things like one thing that I did with my ex is I look through all of our pictures. I look through all of them, and I try to recall the day in which that was taken. Right? I try to recall. Some of them I couldn't. Some of them I couldn't, and it made that picture that much more special because the memory in my head had faded. But that glimpse of that moment made it so special. Like, that's what makes a picture so special. It's a glimpse of time. It's a moment that we capture. And I flipped, I fingered through all these pictures, you know, looked at the back of them and saw the little messages we wrote on them, or the dates, or what we were doing that day, you know. And sometimes it would key something in my head, you know. Those are the things that you do. You look through their Instagram, you look through their Twitter, you know, for inspiration, not or a remembrance of that love. Yeah, and like kind of let it burn a little bit. You know, that was for me. This is what's worked for me. Right? I look through our old videos on my phone. You know, old videos of us together, out here, out there, or little secret videos I took of her sleeping, or little secret videos I took of her just standing there. You know, things you do and have on your phone. You know, and then delete them motherfuckers. Yeah, that was me. That was me. That was me. It caused me a lot of discomfort, and it caused me a lot of pain, you know, deleting them and knowing that I'll never see those memories ever again. Right? I'll never have those memories back unless they pop up somewhere. You know what I mean? Like on Facebook or something. But that's only once a year. You know? So some of these things I'll more than likely 98% of this stuff I'll never see again, ever again. That content of our relationship. And, you know, I threw away pictures. I threw away the birthday cards. I threw away, you know, and I don't say that to like gloat, you know. I'm saying that like in a sense as if I just ripped off my own finger. Yeah. Because these things were the grip of my life. Like she was all I knew. I went from a fucking, you know, a 22-year-old boy. I was a 22-year-old boy. A little boy, 22 years old, brand spanking fucking new. And went through this process of loving her. You know what I mean? And this process of life. And it was the greatest thing I've experienced up until this point, you know? And especially the birth of my son. And those are some of the things that I had to let go of. I had to let go of it. Had to. It caused me the most discomfort, but it was also the most healthy for my body. Right? There was no consumption of alcohol or narcotics or you know, being in a high volume area or being somewhere where I could put myself at risk. You know what I'm saying? Like the worst place to read old love letters is on the edge of a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I wasn't doing any of that. I wasn't partaking in high risk behavior like that. Do things like, you know, reminisce. Go to all the old places where you guys would hang out. Eat dinner there alone. You know? Spend that time alone in that place. Yeah? And I promise, like, you'll see that you won't shy away from those places anymore. You know what I mean? Like, for a while, and even still now, right now there's places I won't go. I won't go there because that was places me and her would go, and it just hurts too much. Right? Like, there's my favorite sushi joint right there in Oxnard, right? And I fucking love that place, but I won't go there. I haven't been. And it's because me and her would go there. And, you know, we had her birthday there one time, and we did Valentine's Day there one time, and all that. You know, I had a chance to go to Disneyland, right, after our breakup. And I didn't go because it was like, that's where me and her would go. And it just, you know, it sucked. It sucked. And it still sucks, you know, because I love Disneyland, but we had so many good times there, me and her, you know. And I know I'll go back, but when I'm ready. You know what I mean? When I feel comfortable. And right now I don't. And I think the next part is that right there. Is this understanding where you're at in your healing process. Yeah? Like, a lot of us, I'm guilty of this, right? So, again, I will speak from my own experience. A lot of us are guilty of thinking that somebody can heal us, that they can make us better. That, you know, you start liking them because they make you feel good. They make you forget about the ex, right? The things they would say or the things they would do. They make you forget about all that, right? So you begin this affectionate interest towards them. Now things are becoming a little more serious. You're surprised by the good morning and good night texts. They make you feel good. You haven't had them in a while, right? They're calling you beautiful, gorgeous, and handsome, and all these wonderful things, you know, and showering you with this affection. Then, which leads to that moment where you're either going to begin to date or not. And back in the back part of our mind, there's a part of us that says, well, I don't know. And then there's a part of us that says, well, they can fix you. They can heal you. Look at how good they already make you feel. You'll forget about it. And in that conflict of conflicting idea, there's that's a problem. In that confliction, there's a problem there that can turn into a serious issue. And it turns into the serious issue, like I said in the last episode, is when we begin to project this knight in shining armor type of ideology onto them. They're not here to fix us. They're not here to make us better. They're not here to, anything like that. We should be whole. We should be whole when stepping into a relationship. We should be happy through and through. Not happy when we're, getting complimented, or happy when we're getting this or being showered with that. We should be happy standing on our own 2 feet. On a rainy day, out in the rain, we should be able to stand in the rain and be happy. Like, damn, this rain is amazing. I hope that's making sense to everybody, right? That even if you're having a shit day, you yourself are happy. You're just having a bad day, right? Because so the main part about that is understanding where you're at in your healing process. There's certain things I still don't do. I have not been out on a date, right? We're close to month 4 of me being single. Woo-woo. We're close to month 4 now, and I haven't wanted to go on a date. I don't think I could handle it. The pressure, of going out and dressing up and doing this and doing that. I just couldn't handle it. And we need to remember that our healing process is not determined by any other it should not be determined by any other person. Not their schedule or what they want. Our healing is based on how we feel standing on our own 2 feet. How we feel looking at ourselves in the mirror. Not by how special somebody makes you feel. Right? If you you're handing them the power if you do that. If you step into a relationship, step into something else without being completely whole, you give them this power of your happiness. Right? And then this knight in shining armor turns into a dictator very quickly. I know, I've been there. Done that. Right? I've stepped into a relationship and was whole. It's been a while. but I stepped in whole. And I mean, it was a very healthy relationship. And I screwed that up. Right? And that is another part of this that I want to touch on too, is we have to own responsibility for the shit that we do in our relationships. We have to really take responsibility, right? Now, like right now, when I spoke about one of my other past relationships, I said I fucked that up. And I will never ever, ever say that I was a perfect man in me and my ex's relationship. I'll never say that. Ask anybody who's near me or anybody in my family. When I disclose any information about what was going on or things that have happened or things that have transpired, I always speak on my own sins first. And it's to honor her, right? Because I could sit here and divulge all these things that were said and done and revealed and la la la. But if I don't, what's that going to do? All that's going to do is paint her out as this horrible person. But if you divulge, if you speak about what you did, if you talk about where you went wrong, you know what that makes you? It makes you honest. And I'd much rather be an honest motherfucker. Yeah? Holding ourselves accountable, right, not only gives us a place in morality, it helps us learn. We become more educated through our mistakes, through our shortcomings, right? When you worry about what you did wrong, the power of where they went wrong kind of begins to lose its grip, right? You begin to judge them less for what they did. There's less hatred and animosity and there's another word that I'm looking for. Distaste and discomfort at the thought or within the presence of these people. Because for me, for example, I have to be in her presence, about 6 to 8 times a week, picking up and dropping off my son. And, at first it was super high, tense, and first it was sad. I wanted to be with her, I wanted to love her, and I wanted her to love me, and I wanted to fix things, and all this stuff, but I had already pushed her too far away. During our relationship, I had already pushed her too far away, and in the end, I that's what I wanted, right? And so seeing her was very intense at first, right? Because all I could understand was, I'm sad. Then it became very tense and very hostile and very nippy and very rawr, because I just looked at the things that she was doing now and how she decided whatever, and all I could do was point the finger at her and bad you, right? And then I began to heal more, right? And in that healing, I began to point at myself and say, well, you know what, you did this too, and you know what, you did that, and you did this, and yeah, sure, she did this, and she did that, but you did that, and you did this. 2 wrongs don't make a right, right? So ain't nobody right in none of this, right? I started off with. See, I told you I'm gonna keep it a fucking buck with you guys, bruh. I'm never gonna sit here and bash on her without being honest with myself, because it's the way that I healed. This is dead ass how I got over a 5-year relationship with the mother of my child. A nigga really had to look at himself in the mirror and be like, you know what? A lot of this is your fault too. 50% of this is your fault too. 50% of this is my fault, right? just like 50% of it is her fault, right? And with this one, this is the tricky one. This, I feel like out of everything I've mentioned in these 2 episodes, this is the trickiest of them all. Because we want people to apologize to us. We want them to own up to their actions. And sometimes they just won't. And it'll cause frustration. And in that frustration, when you see them or you're around them, it will bring you back to level 1. Like I was saying, it'll bring you back to level 1 where you are hostile and you're just like, man, fuck you, I can't stand you, right? So for somebody like me, that can be a very vicious cycle to continue to go through. Because I have to see her. I have to be around her. I mean, I fucking love, I love the girl. She's the mother of my child. And she's a good mama. I mean, on a personal level, no. I mean, no. Right? You guys get me? Like, I've healed to the point where I'm good being around her. I know how much I loved her. I know I loved her. Yeah, fucking goddamn head over heels for the fucking girl. You guys should have seen me. You know, y'all would have been like, damn, this motherfucker's crazy. Y'all should have seen me, man. I was crazy for this girl. And that's okay. I'm not anymore. And that's okay. Right? Because I realized she has her own shit to learn. I had my own shit to learn. We're learning it. I'll never, I've apologized to her. I'll never have the apologies that I feel that I deserve. And you know what? That's okay. Right? It's not my job to get her to learn anything. It's not my job. She'll learn it on her own time. Right? And if she never does, well, goddamn, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right, baby. It's all right. Right? So all my people out there, the biggest, overall wrapping idea about it is just, you want to get over a relationship, man? Just heal. Just heal. And it's going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. You're going to have to hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? But if you do it, you'll be so strong afterwards. And this is strength that will last you a lifetime. So don't miss the opportunity. All right? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm about to hop off and smoke one. I hope you guys have a good night, all right? Listen, have a great day, week, month, year, life. This has been The Smoking Section with your boy Corpse. I'll holler at y'all on the flip side, all right? Stay motivated. Bang! Yo, what up, everybody? I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. It would mean the absolute world to me. I mean the world to me if you guys could just retweet, share it, tell your friends about it, and hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you guys are listening to this to. Again, it would mean the world, man, and I truly appreciate every single one of you. All right? Have a blessed day.